So this is the BluFractal system page of Blue Signals. You get here by navigating to the Systems tab and then over to the BluFractal tab. On here we have the top indicator section, which includes the basic pricing information for the selected security. In this case, it's the ETF of the SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF, with closing and current prices. Here we have the two key trend indicators, the near-term trend and the long-term trend. And here we indicate the direction of the trend and the current strength of the trend using this strength meter. We give the starting date of the most recent trend, starting price, days in trend, as well as for the long-term trend. We also have projected fail points for both near and long-term trends. This is all very useful when examining the charts and determining entry and exit values. The meter, in particular in conjunction with the projected fail point, can give you a heads up on weakness in a particular market and perhaps an opportunity to take profits even before your projected stop loss. Below we have the charts for near and long term using daily and weekly bars. You can also access the help screen by clicking on the help button to again point out some of the basic features to the system. Taking a look at the near-term trend, I'm going to close the ticker to give us more room here. As you see, we have blue for positive trend, purple for negative trend, gray for the neutral trend. Now, on this daily chart, it's easy to follow the trend signals. You can get in and out of a position based upon the starting and ending points of the directional trend. Oftentimes, this is achieved most efficiently after a transition point. For instance, when the trend transitions from neutral or negative to positive, that's your entry indicator. Looking at this most recent breakout, we have the trend transitioning from negative to positive. And of course, we're still currently in that positive trend. Now, these charts update and populate in real time during the market session. What's interesting to note here is on the current trend, we're showing 41% strength and a projected fail point of 262.94, which is approximately in this level right here. So this projects where you should consider your stop loss if you're in a long trade at this point. Now, these are dynamic numbers. If the trend picks up steam and our system interprets the strengthening of a trend, the meter will react in real time and demonstrate this, and the fail point can also adjust. Oftentimes, when a trend continues strongly, the meter will strengthen and the fail point will go to unknown, as it is here in the long-term trend. Fail points scored as unknown are for either two reasons. First, the trend is too new and there aren't enough points of data to accurately project the fail point, or the trend is demonstrating enough strength to be far enough away from any potential fail point that the fail point is not rendered. if we come down to the long-term trend, we see the same color scheme and the same interpretation here. And it's important to note that we have no projected fail point in the long-term trend and a fairly substantial strength in the meter at 76%. Typically, you wouldn't concern yourself with the trend until the meter gets below 40 or 50% and a fail point is projected. So it's important to consider both the near and the long term while you're in a position. To interpret the current market situation, we have a weakening meter for the near term and a projected fail point. However, it's supported by a strong long-term trend with no projected fail point and a 76% strength meter. That would give you confidence that this fail point is likely to hold and perhaps adjust itself higher as this trend is anticipated to continue. However, if it does not, and the market weakens here, you'll see that weakness manifest itself here in the meter and in the projected fail point, giving you adequate time in advance to exit or adjust your position. Again, playing these systems in conjunction with one another is very important to improve upon the probability of success. For instance, if you find in the weekly chart a transition point, like we have here on September the 11th, oftentimes you can come back to the daily chart and take aggressive positions to the upside with the confidence in knowing that you've just begun a new long-term trend. By anticipating the timing and by observing the strength can give you confidence that these trends will yield substantial directional moves. It's also important to note that as we discussed with our other systems, these are forward-looking indicators. So when you get these signals, you have a high degree of confidence that that directional move is going to form and manifest itself after the initial signal. And that can be further considered when you look at the strength of the meter and if any projected fail point has been rendered. So combining all of these various points of data between your meters, projected fail points, and the position and timing of the trend indicators on both the near and the long-term trend can give position and swing traders tremendous advantage in getting in early on a move and having the confidence to stay in a position. Many of our users accomplish their day trading strategies using these same charts and indicators. By finding a strong trend with good meter strength and perhaps fairly new in the move in both weekly and daily, and then taking that directional bias onto one of our price charts for conventional technical analysis studies. There, they can now take a direction. If they trade crossovers of a moving average, or perhaps an oscillator system like the MACD, the RSI, or stochastics, they now can take a bias and a position. And a positive trend, they can go intraday and take all of the bullish signals from their conventional trading methods. Again, using any number of standard technical indicators, and our technical analysis charts have dozens and dozens of indicators, studies, and overlays that you can choose from to construct your own customized charts and use the system data from the blue signal systems to give yourself trend and directional bias when executing intraday trades. Therefore, position traders, swing traders, and day traders all can find value in the BluFractal trend analysis and trend indicators found on the BluFractal system page.